Hello and welcome to today's BetHelper betting preview. Today's game we're going to be looking at is Denmark versus Cameroon. It's the evening kickoff here for Saturday the 19th of June at 7:30 p.m. The venue here is Pretoria, so it's at 1,370 meters. So it is at altitude, so players might have be a bit under performing here. Having a look at the Asian markets. Handicap is actually at 0 at the moment, so it's they're obviously expecting a very, very tight game here with either side is capable of winning it if they actually perform. Denmark's odds have slightly drifted in the last couple of days, while Cameroon has actually stayed flat throughout. While the unders and overs market, the handicap actually changed from 2.5 originally to 2.25, and now it's down to 2, so they're expecting a low scoring game here. Looking at the betting exchanges, the betting exchanges at Cameroon at 3.15, they've stayed stable there throughout the week, so there's a bit of support for them. Denmark are the favourites here on the exchanges, they're at 2.56. The draw is 3.3. Stayed the same as well throughout the week, so there hasn't been many changes here in this game at all so far. Partially due to the lack of money being matched at the betting exchanges at the moment, but people are concentrating on other games. The unders and overs, the over 2.5 goal mark is at 2.66, so it's the significant underdog here in this one. It's actually stayed flat throughout the week as well, so we'll have to monitor that now in the next 24 hours, see if there is a change on either the moves on the odds on each team as well as the unders and overs markets. Looking into the percentages, there's only been about 100,000 matched so far at the betting exchanges, so there's not much to work off. You still have a look at what it tells us though. 58% of the total wages matched at the betting exchanges is 58% gone to Denmark, so they obviously have a good few followers thinking that Denmark are going to pull this one out of the bag. Cameroon only have a 15% of matched bets at the betting exchanges, while the draw comes in at 27%, so there's a bit of support there for the draw on this one. The unders and overs, there's only 14% wagered on the overs, over 2.5 goal market, so again it's another game that's looking towards it's going to be unders, especially the market thinks so anyway. Looking at the bookmakers, the bookmakers have, again, they haven't seen too much movement. Cameroon are at 3s, Denmark are at 2.5, while the draw is at 3.25, and they've all been the same throughout the last few days. Where the overs is at 2.6, the over 2.5 goal market there, 2.6. So again, they're the underdogs, so they're not expecting too many goals at bookmakers either. Looking to the exchanges, or looking to the form, sorry. Cameroon have a pretty dire record at the moment. They have no wins in the last 6 games, only 3 draws and 3 defeats. And one of those defeats came against Japan at the weekend, where they lost 1-0. Played okay in that match. They've actually kind of playing out in the wings, so if they can move him more up front and getting him taking shots, maybe they actually can score. Denmark's form is pretty poor as well. They've only 2 wins in the last 6 games. They had 4 defeats in that time, and they lost 2-0 last time out against Holland. Didn't play too badly. They actually kind of matched Holland for much of the game, but Holland's extra quality showed it in the end. Bentner looks like their only kind of goal threat, and he's actually kind of struggling with an injury at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see if he does miss out where they can go to for goals. There's 2 previous meetings between the 2 sides, there's 1 victory for each, both of which have been by a goal margin of 2-1, so maybe that pattern could appear again. Hopefully it will, because there will be goals in it, but it's going to be tight, no matter who's going to come out on top in this one. Looking at the streaks, Denmark are unbeaten against African sides at the World Cup. They have only played 3 games at the World Cup against an African side, but they've 1 win and 2 draws there, so make that of what you will. Cameroon have a very poor record against European sides in the World Cup. They've only one win in 11 games against European sides in the World Cup. Looking at the rankings, Cameroon are actually 19th, going by the FIFA World Rankings. They've been a very good African force for the last decade, doing well in African Cup of Nations and in World Cup qualifiers. They actually are Africa's best World Cup performer, getting furthest and being in the most competitions. They are 39th on the ELO rankings, which would suggest that they are in pretty poor form. They were very going to stop starting in the African Cup of Nations, and it looks like they've continued that into the World Cup with their relatively poor performance against Japan at the weekend, where they would have been expected to win. They couldn't actually get any goals, they couldn't take any of their chances. Looking at Denmark, they're 36th in the world according to FIFA, so they're an average European side really. Well, on the ELO rankings they're 24th, without taking into consideration how they qualified and their level of performance in that. Since then their performance have kind of decreased a bit, and they haven't won too many games of late. They also lost the game against South Africa in preparation for the World Cup, so that's another performance against an African player that's poor. The referee for this one is Jorge Caradonda. He actually he's from Uruguay. Sorry, his name is Larandiona. He actually ref the game between Ivory Coast and Portugal. He gave 3 yellows in that one. There was 2 to the Ivory Coast and 1 to Portugal. I actually thought there was going to be a red card in that one, and so he gave out 3 yellow cards in like the first 15 minutes, and he actually left his cards in the pocket then for the rest of the game, which was a bit surprising. He's refed 138 games, international games. He's given 595 yellow cards, and that gives him an average of 4.31 yellows per game, which is a bit higher than average. And he's given 98 red cards, or 94 red cards, giving him an average of 0.68 reds per game, so that is abnormally high, and that is something to look at. He's given 38 penalties, which gives him an average of 0.28 penalties per game, so that's about average. Looking towards the injuries, the only injury there really is Bettner, who actually was carrying knock into the last game as well, but ended up starting. We'll see if he'll actually make it through for this one, but he might actually play through the pain barrier, as they don't really have any other options up front for Denmark. Then if you look at the probabilities, computer probabilities gives Cameroon a 26% chance of winning, while it gives Denmark a 51% chance of winning, and while the draw comes in at 23% chance of victory. Computer probabilities are calculated using the stats and the market movements, so I would expect those to change as the market actually kicks into gear in the next 24 hours. If you compare that now to the implied probabilities based on the bookmakers, gives Cameroon a 32% chance, so bookmakers have them with a higher chance of winning. They have Denmark at a 39% chance, which is a bit lower than the computed, and the draw comes in at 28% chance, which is again a bit higher than computer probabilities, which is to be expected. On the match odds, you have to favour Denmark at the moment. Cameroon are very hit and miss and are in terrible form. Could look to Cameroon on the handicaps, as it will be a tight game. The unders also looking likely here again, as both teams failed to score in their last outing. And I would look to the red card market, as this ref he's card happy and he has an average of 0.68 reds per game, and he didn't give any red in the last game. So follow us on twitter.com/BetHelper to get some market updates and some betting and suggestions and tips updates. Leave any comments or feedback below, and emails to BetHelper.ie at gmail.com. Thanks for listening.